welcome to my review for Inferno. So Inferno is the third film in the Da Vinci Code trilogy, first being the Da Vinci Code, second being Angels and Demons, and the third one being this. I have not seen the previous two, but I went into this one thinking I would be okay because I know that the stories aren't that strong, and I had read the summary of each film before I went to go see it. And I was right, the film isn't necessarily that complex. If you haven't seen any of the two previous ones, you can go into this and sort of get the same experience. So, this film is loosely based on Dante's Inferno, or it's not loosely based, it's heavily based around Dante's Inferno. And it follows Tom Hanks' character who wakes up in a hospital with absolutely no memory, and with Felicity Jones as his doctor, who's trying to figure out how he lost his memory until suddenly they are taken out of the hospital because someone has a gun and is trying to shoot them. They have no clue what this is about. They go back to their apartment and discover secrets about Dante's Inferno, the 9 layers of hell. So, this film honestly surprised me. Not in the way that you think. I do believe that this is a bad movie. However, I am utterly surprised by how much exposition they fit into one movie. Okay, I have a friend who has read the book and seen the movie. He says that the book is also has a lot of exposition. A lot of the book is just the guy going to a place with Felicity Jones's character, getting explanation and exposition for what's going on, leaving, going to a place getting more exposition, and etc., etc. However, I don't think that you need to necessarily be super faithful to the book to adapt to a film, because this film honestly has way too much exposition. A lot of the scenes are basically exposition, exposition. This is how this happened, this is the result. This is how this happened, this is the result. This is the result of that, and this is how this happened. After that, this happened, and then this happened. Oh, I know all this by insert generic excuse. More exposition, then the characters leave. And I'm honestly astonished how you can make 80% of a movie be completely exposition. It's shocking and it's astonishing. I didn't think that you could do that, but they did it. Practically, I mean, every single scene is like that. Imagine a movie where 90% of the scenes are exactly that, just someone explaining something to you. I'm shocked that they were able to do that much with the movie. It's surprising, but the exposition definitely isn't the worst part, though I do believe that is in due part to the script. And another issue from the script is the dialogue. A lot of it is just completely moronic. Most of it is exposition, and when it's not exposition, it's just characters talking to each other, and their conversations are just so weak and so dull, and that ends up in characters that are very, very weak. A lot of these characters are one-dimensional and very flat. Tom Hanks does a fine job in this movie. He does a good job, but the script gives him nothing to work with. And Felicity Jones, she's about to be in Star Wars Rogue One. I was a bit concerned from the trailers with her acting, and she does a fine job in this movie, but this movie shouldn't be held back on her because the script gave her nothing to work with. She had nothing to do. They gave her some backstory towards the later half of the film where she definitely did a really good job. But before that, it was just exposition that she was spouting out. So I don't think it was necessarily her fault that for most of the movie she was flat. It was definitely the script, and a lot of issues with the film are definitely with the script. Also, a big pet peeve of mine in movies is when a movie makes fun of itself. So for example, in Cinema Paradiso, a movie I love, though it definitely went down when, what's his name, the main character of the movie, is lying down and says, man, if only, the love interest in the movie comes back, only if this were a movie, it would, there would suddenly be rain, she'd come back to me, and this summer would all be over. Boom, next scene, rain comes down, she's there, it's not, the summer isn't over, but, she's there, and he got exactly what he wanted. I don't like it when movies do that, and this movie does that quite a few times with his memory, because he's reciting all this stuff about, oh, I remember this and this and this, and then Felicity Jones says, oh, and you didn't remember the word for coffee. That's okay, fine, but a script shouldn't make fun of an issue that it has. If anything, a script should just ignore it, or just leave it to the side, or try to fix it, not make fun of it. And also, this movie suffers just going on for way too long. I stopped caring about 1 hour and 30 minutes in, and I do have to say, for the first hour or so, I was interested in the movie, and honestly, the story to this movie is definitely good. It felt like a good movie wrapped in a bad movie's body, because I bet that the book is great. From a lot of people that have read it, I've heard that it's a great book, and that doesn't surprise me, but I don't see how the book was inspired by this, because the book is because the movie's definitely weak. Although you can tell it has a good story and it has something going for it. It made me interested in Dante's Inferno. But so many issues with the dialogue and the script just hold the movie back. It's over length. And also, they do have some cool effects with the headache. Because, or not headache, but brain injury or whatever that Tom Hanks deals with. They have a lot of editing for that in the beginning, which looked really cool. A lot of him just sort of losing his focus, his eyes, getting crisscrossed and like losing vision. That was definitely very cool. Although, another issue with the movie, I just said that the editing for those headache scenes were good, but the editing in this movie generally is awful. This is some of the worst editing I've seen all year. Just, they randomly go to places, just exposition, cut, and a lot of the time in the movie, the editing just feels so quick and sudden. It was terribly done, and it gives the movie a terrible flow, a terrible pace, and also they try to add interest to the movie because the movie eventually gets quite boring, and because the script is so uninteresting. They do try and make the movie have something else going for it with the police chasing after him. But that was possibly the worst part of the movie. It was just randomly in the background. It was just put there so that Tom Hanks had to rush what he was doing so he could get out of there. And that's all this was. Inferno is a movie I definitely disliked. I'm going to give this movie a 3.75 out of 10. Not one of the worst movies I've seen, just generally a bad movie. Alright, that concludes my review. What did you think of Inferno? Comment in the comment section below. I am Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.